Well, good morning everyone. This is George Bairuthi from FS Securities, giving you the overnight market update for Monday morning, the 11th of August. First of all, who we are. We're a stockbroking firm located on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia, and a bit more about our company later in this presentation. Let me start with a disclaimer. Everything we present here today is for general information only and general advice. Before you take any action, please consult with your professional advisor or talk to us directly. A copy of this disclaimer is available to you upon request. We start with the market report, and this morning we present part 10 on options. We've covered all the basic information about how to trade options, and prior to that, a couple of weeks ago, we finished the series on futures contract. So if you wish to receive previous parts of this particular editorial stroke education, all you have to do is call the office. Okay, let me start with Wall Street, where US stocks ended higher on the weekend. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 185 points or 1.1% to 16,553. The broad S&P 500 also rose 1.1% to 1,932. It is interesting to note that over the full week, the Dow Jones finished higher by 0.4% or 61 points higher. In Europe, the StoxX 50 index that comprises several European major markets fell 0.2% and finished at 3,006. In London, the FTSE 100 index was down 0.5% at 6,567, and in Japan, the Nikkei index fell nearly 3%. That's at 14,778. In China, the Shanghai index rose 0.2% at 2,331. On the commodities, gold futures contract a short time ago was trading at 1,309, that's US per ounce, down $3 from this time yesterday. I should say from Friday. Silver closed this morning at $19.97, down 10 cents. Over the full week, gold was up by 1.2%, that is $15. But silver went the other way, and over the week it was down 2%. Crude oil was at 97.4 US a barrel, down 50 cents. Copper, the world's economic barometer, on Saturday morning was at 318 cents per pound, and that was steady. Iron ore, which is important for our miners such as BHP, Rio, Atlas Iron and Fortescue, added 0.1% at 96 US a ton. On the currencies, the Aussie dollar was giving 92.7 US cents, 94.8 Japanese yen, 69.2 euro cents and 55.3 British pence. And these, of course, are intrabank rates. On our market on Friday, the benchmark ASX 200 index sunk 1.34% or 74 points to 5,435. Over the week, the index fell 2.3% or 121 points. And when you look at the last 6 sessions, the market shed $41 billion in value. On the local news today, and we show you the next slide, where we have a lot of announcements from Asia, Australia, Europe and the United States. So, but anyway, here we've got the NAB business confidence data, and of course any of these announcements can affect the market either here or overseas. Now we, amongst the leading sector, by the way, last week, we had the best performers over the week was Newcrest Mines, which was up by 3.5%, followed by Rio, up 1.6%. The worst performers over the full week were Leighton Holdings, down 4.3%, followed by ANZ, down nearly 4%. In our market report, we show you a lot of data. We give you a lot of data to give you a good impression about what's happening to the market. Well, here we have volume. You can see that on Friday the volume was 2.26 billion transactions taking place. So more or less, with the exception of one particular day, 3-4 days ago, the market has been on the upside. However, remember that most days in the last 6 days, the declines exceeded advances. And here we have 51.3% of all the shares traded on Friday declined, and only 24% rose. And it's interesting that a Friday before, exactly the same day a week earlier, the market dropped again, and the advances were only 22.2%, while the declines were 56%. So it's been a bad ride out of the last 6 days, but this chart gives you an impression about what's happening in the market. We now give you also an idea about which companies have performed better than others. For instance, you can see a company called Probiotic Limited rose by 20%, Regis Resources up by nearly 6%, and so on. You can see that gold was on the upside last week, and most of these companies from Oceana Gold, LSE Gold, Regis Resources, they're all into gold. On the volume side, Telstra is always up on this list. However, it lost 4 cents on Friday. It was down to $5.39. Horizon down 1%, and you can go all the way down and see that there has been a company called Triton Minerals dropped 13.3%. We like to show you also how the sectors have performed on the last trading days, with the exception of gold, which was up 2%. Most sectors were actually on the downside. And going down the list, try to see which is the worst performer. We got property at the very bottom, as well as the consumer discretionary. Does that tell you that the market is a bit nervous and stop spending on discretionary items? So this also gives you an idea about how the market is performing. Then over the last 2 days, we show you the companies, the top 10 companies that went up and the 10 companies that went down. Another impression for you to see which company deserves further research. Bidel Resources was up 7% on Friday, and on Thursday it went up by 9%. You can see Regis Resources on Thursday was up by 6%. So all this information, we believe, is available to you to absorb, and maybe you can actually ask some questions to your stockbroker. Another table we show you here is the 2-week change, week-on-week change for 1 and 2 weeks. For instance, you can see the Dow Jones over the last 2 weeks was down 2.4%. However, last week it finished around up 0.4%. Gold on the right hand side was up 1.2% last week, but nevertheless, if you look at the last 2 weeks combined, was only up 0.2%. In terms of the volatility index, which is we call that the fear gauge, dropped 7% last week, but when you combine the 2 weeks together, it was up by nearly 24%. For your information, when the VIX goes up, the market usually goes down. Alright, in terms of the ratio between puts and calls, the composite market was actually 0.97, dropped below 1, but last week, a week ago, it was above. It was the first time to see this number higher than 1. Higher than 1 means more puts options than call options, which can tell you more or less there is a little bit of concern in the marketplace where people hedge against their portfolio, or maybe taking a bearish position. Now we look at the local markets, and you can see over the last 2 weeks, with the exception of gold, all sectors on the left hand side here were bearish. Over the last 2 weeks we've seen about 2% drop. Obviously gold was performing well, and going down the list here for the last 2 weeks we see that anything with 3%, I guess the information technology was the worst, nearly 4%, close enough to 4%, followed by the property, the financials, and then the consumer discretionary. On the stocks side, looking at the table on the right hand side, we're going down the list. QBE was down 9.4% over the last 2 weeks. ANZ was down 4.4% over the last 2 weeks. Leighton Holdings down 7.5%. Macquarie down 5%. So again, information that can be useful in your trading. Then we go to ex-dividend stocks. We're going down the list. We can see that Rio Tinto has got $1 dividends. That's the ex-date on the 13th of the 8th, in 2 days' time. Later on we see Downer EDI on the 15th and ResMed on the 19th, just to name a few. Alright, well, who am I? Well, I am the director here at FS Securities. I've been trading for over 25 years, and I've traded equities, futures, options, CFDs, foreign exchange, you name it. And of course I've had bad experience and I've learned from them, and some good experience, and my ambition now is to educate and aid and assist our clients and prospective clients to make money. So, and to become, of course, an effective traders. So how to reach us? Well, there is our phone number here, 61 for Australia, 7 for Brisbane, for Queensland, and 56304141, our landline phone number. My mobile phone number is available for you to contact me 7 days a week, plus my email and the website. And I encourage you to join us on a 15-day trial on our website, so you can see all the recommendations that we provide. We show you all the scans, we show you all the results, we give you all the educations. There is a lot of information there. So why don't you go and surf the website at fssecurities.com and see what available information that can assist you in trading. Happy trading, and I'll speak to you again later on today to give you what happened during the day.